Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to my GoLive series again. This is Jeline from Singapore, a working mother of two, and also a digital business owner and mentor. So today is day 8 of my GoLive series out of the 10 days. Like I was sharing with you for day 6 to day 8, I will be having business partners on board with me to share their business journey with us. And today, being day 8, is going to be the last day of this live interview series. Today, I'm very honored to have with me somebody in our business community who has actually, I'll let her share with you her journey. I shall not say too much, but she has been an inspiration to me so far, and I'll share later through during the interview why she's an inspiration to me in this business as well. So tonight, as you would already have known, I have invited to join me. I have invited Janice to join me online to share with us her journey. So let's not keep her waiting. Let's invite Janice to share with us. Hi, Janice.
Hi, Jolene. Hi,
Thank
good
you so
evening.
much for accepting my invitation. At this time in the night, for those of you who are actually watching, it's actually 11:15 Singapore time in the night right now. So thank you, Janice, for accepting my invitation and for speaking to our audience this late in the night.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to be on your page to share with the audience about our digital business platform. Hi,
Yes, it's my
everybody. I'm
honor.
Janice.
Mm,
Full-time working mom, like Jolene. I have two daughters. They are age 9 and 12.
mhm.
I am a wife to a husband. I am also a daughter to a aging parents. So currently, I'm staying with huge family because I stay with my parents, and in this household, I also have my aunt and my brother staying together. Right?
Oh, that's quite a lot of people staying under one roof.
Yeah, that's right. So I have been in this business for about 22 months.
Mm,
And yeah, and actually, I've been brought up uh, with a business mindset because my parents actually runs a traditional F&B business, and they have
mm.
been running it for 50 years, right? So the business mindset has been there with me, and I'll share it later.
Sure. I actually I do come from similar background because like yourself, my parents at one point of time, they were also in the F&B business, but it was a small scale one. So what they did is my parents actually operated a prawn noodle store in a coffee shop back then. But it actually didn't last long. We only carried on for about a few years. So, yep.
It's
Janice, can you actually share with us, right, what were some of your pains and struggles before you actually started this online business?
okay. So as I mentioned, right, I grew up with a business mindset. I grew up from a family with a business mindset. So, and my parents has been running that business way before I was born.
Mm,
And I remember clearly, I was told that um, even before I was 1 month old, in Chinese we call 满月, right? So
mm,
even
mm, mm.
before I was 1 month old, I
It was
was
decided for
actually
you what you were going to do.
no, my mom actually decided that I she hands me over to a paid nanny to look
Oh,
after me, and that was before I was 1 month old.
oh,
So can you imagine? And I have been staying with that nanny for like a good 10 years. So I only comes home to my real home every every twice a year, which is the school holidays, right?
mm,
Like primary school, we actually have holidays in June and December. So I
yep,
only managed to come home during the holidays period. and then when it's school, then I'll go back to my nanny there. So it's a sort of like a long term overnight stay with my paid nanny, and I actually grow with them instead of my real family. So, I miss that growing period, and many times I don't know my real parents because I don't have the bond there,
Mm.
right? So, and when when my father decided that it's time for me to come home because it has been uh, long away from home, like too long a period, and I wasn't feeling easy when I came to my real home, right? Every night I was crying for my nanny
Of course,
because
because you've been with her for the last 10 years.
yeah, that's right. So, and it's sad that I actually miss someone that I do not have blood relationship with, but when I'm back home with my real family, I didn't have that home kind of feeling, right?
Mm.
So I, when I have my children, I didn't want them to have similar kind of uh, feeling that I have. So I look after my child, my babies when they were newborn. So I
Mm.
don't have any confinement ladies that help me.
Right,
Right, I
same
look
as
after them
mine.
at night, and in the day I have helper to help me so that I can get some rest. But the point is, I try as much that to watch them as much as I can until like I have to go back to the corporate, and I also want to give them the very best. So when I try to perform well in the corporate to get that higher pay, get that promotions, things like that, I sort of like forgotten that my initial why that I want to
Mm.
be with them, right? So
Right,
because my direction changed to giving them more
a
of
better
the
lifestyle.
the material things,
Needs.
you
Mm-hmm.
know rather than the time, uh rather than the time. So, and I landed in a job that actually requires me 24/7.
Mm.
Anytime on call, I need to go. In the middle of the night, I need to wake up, kind of thing, right? So, and then I couldn't let go um because of that higher pay I'm getting, right? And it's reasonable because I'm giving more of my time, so I'm getting more of the pay.
Mm-hmm.
But on the second part, I'm also missing a lot of the time with my two darlings,
Mm.
right? So until I to a point that I was very stressed with work. I think as we age, our health got affected,
Mm.
and then that was a wake up call. Is it really that worthwhile? Is it my kids are young, and my health starts to show me signals that I can't go on like that, right? And the stress level, I probably I was the requirement was way too stressful for me. And I think you know um, I even asked my children, is it okay if I take a lower pay job and have more time with them? And they can tell me yes.
Mm.
And then it's so touching to hear from them.
Yeah.
They rather give up the less toys, less luxury stuff, than and they just want me with them.
Yeah, a lot of times all our children want is actually for our presence to be with them, our time with them, which we sometimes forget and overlook because we thought, we are working hard on the side to just give them a better lifestyle. And for you, you actually were holding on to two mother roles because I thought motherhood was the only job that requires us to work 24/7, but your other job in this oil and gas industry actually required your 24-hour presence as well. So yeah, you were taking on more than what you could shoulder. And but I'm glad that along the way you did come to realize that the initial why of why you wanted to start this business was because you don't want your children to miss having the time spent with their own family, like how you were away with your parents when you were young. So Thank you so much, Janice, for sharing with us your pains and struggles and being vulnerable in front of the audience. I would like to check, right, why did you decide to choose an online business to start off with?
Actually, I wanted to change an industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to get out of and to take a total change, firstly, I don't think people will easily hire me because I don't have experience in that particular industry,
Mm,
right? But if I want to change another job and if it's the same industry, I know that it's gonna be the same thing. I won't have the time that I want,
yeah.
right? So just when I was searching, I actually chanced upon this opportunity on Facebook, and I was curious, like, oh, what exactly is it, right? And
Mm,
because digital is actually the futuristic of our
yeah.
generation.
It's the new normal these days, especially
Yeah,
after we were hit with the global situation.
correct. So and then I just stepped in and I was amazed by what the system can provide us. Uh, exactly what I wanted. The time freedom. The time freedom is more of the big thing, right?
Mm.
Exactly what I was searching for. No need experience. They don't look at your
Our
how
age as well.
yeah,
Age is
correct.
not an
Whether you have a
issue.
degree or not, whether
Yeah,
you know
communication.
PhD or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as long as you are willing to learn,
Mm,
and the training is amazing, right? So that's why I decided to hop on, and it's a long term plan for me in order to really cut off my corporate and get out of the corporate rat race.
mm. Currently, you're still actually holding your full time job, right, alongside this business.
I actually took a pay cut. Right.
Mm,
I took a pay cut from my previous stressful job. So
mm-hmm.
I took a lower pay and still in the same industry, but lesser stress.
And more time with your children.
Yeah, correct. That's the
That's
main
nice.
important thing.
Nice. What is the After you started this online business, right, Jen? What is the biggest result or the change that you actually experienced, like throughout this 22 months in your journey? What would you
Um,
actually share with us?
okay, I think firstly the pay cut was the biggest change. Usually people go for higher pay, ma. Increment
Right.
is very important. So when I decided to, quit the job, take a lower pay cut, um, I think many of my friends were surprised, like, why you do this, right? So, and having making that decision also changed me into a happier person,
Mm,
right? I was like in tears, crying, crying to sleep, worry about then the next day have to go through another stressful day, seeing the face to face with my nasty boss. And I think I took the courage to step out. Well, it builds me into a stronger person with
mm,
an experience. Like, of course, I mean, I was scared. I was scared when I decided to let go that higher pay and start this business together when I start a new job. Can I cope?
mm.
Because
Yeah,
in a new job, you also need to perform, right? When with this business, of course, I would want to see success in this business as well, right? Don't forget, at the same time, I'm also helping my parents who are
with your
running a
FFB.
food business at home. Yeah,
There's a lot of multitasking. Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah, but
guess. Mm,
can you carry on?
yeah, I guess a lot of times, whatever we do in life, it's always a first step forward that brings the most uncertainty because we don't know what the future would rather the future would bring us or what this new decision or this new job, new venture would actually be. I mean, what is in store for us in this new opportunity. So the first step forward is always the hardest. But I would say that, after the first step forward, everything comes to light, everything just falls in place. And like what I was sharing with the audience earlier, you have been an inspiration to me in this journey because I've been in this business for 10 months now. And you are somebody that I would actually want to, that inspires me to be the same because, like yourself, you have chanced upon this business, like how you mentioned in the lowest point of your time. And then from this business, you actually went through such a drastic change of going through a drastic pay cut. But it was actually so that we can actually have more time with our children, which is what I would actually want as well, you know. So, and along this journey, you have progressed along, and from a mentor, you have also advanced to become a business coach already. And even today, you were, a panelist in the live webinar that, we host for our audience or people who are interested to find out more every Wednesday and Friday. So these are the progress and these are the milestones that I've seen you hit in this in your 22 months, and it's something that I would also want to be hitting and achieving for myself as well. And most importantly, what is the biggest inspiration for me is that when I first got to know you, you actually were doing this business on your own, but recently we also have your husband on board with you, and you shared that your husband was actually quite skeptical at first, but then throughout your 22 months in this business, in fact, you only let him know, he only found out that you were doing this 18 months into your business journey, right? So
Yeah.
I do have a similar background whereby when I first started this journey 10 months ago, my husband was aware. He was aware. He was very skeptical, and he still is skeptical right now. I wouldn't say that he opposed to it, but on the other hand, he doesn't support it as well. So it's kind of like, okay, I will just, for him, it is, I don't oppose, but I don't support. I'll just take a step back and see how you do it, how you run it. So when I actually hear about your success story, especially, how you actually advance to becoming a business mentor, a business coach, and even having your husband join you, I guess that is the biggest testimony, whereby when somebody who was once skeptical about what this business we are doing is all about, but yet is convinced to, in fact, join us in the end. That is something that I would wish to happen to myself as well. And that's the biggest inspiration and why I actually invited you to, share your journey with us.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think I didn't expect that couple entrepreneurship to 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 start off because uh well, he was actually out of job for 3 years when I started this digital business,
Mm,
and he actually got a contract job, right? But he was still looking for a full time job.
mm,
But and he's actually 7 years older than me, so so for his age, I can understand it's very difficult, especially now these days, employment, they are very realistic. They look at
right.
younger people, they look at
Correct. All the
lower
fresh
pay.
grads and all.
Yes, they are willing to train the fresh grads.
Mm,
So chances is very slim for him, right? So I guess for us, me and him, we both experience at our lowest point uh, in a different way. That makes him so-called be open-minded with this business as well.
mm,
Correct.
right. Yeah, so for me, when I actually came to know that, your husband also, for your husband who was once skeptical, and he actually saw, I believe the reason why he actually so-called was convinced and even joined you in doing this together now is because he also has seen, after he found out that you were in this business, he also has seen the transformation in you, in how you were able to, spend more time with your family, alongside your full-time job now with this business, and how you actually also mentor other business partners along, and the results that you have achieved in this business, I believe are factors that actually change his mind. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to hear that both of you. In fact, I used to have this thinking that it's impossible to do business or work with your spouse or partner because you will get into a lot of arguments. Is that the case, Jen, for you?
I think for I mean, when we were still dating, I used to work as a part timer in his one of his office, and I do
Ah,
agree that uh, having to work in the same environment does cause conflict for a
mm,
couple. But
yeah,
for this digital business, right, it's actually the other way around. Because of this business, our relationship actually turns better.
that's nice.
I think because the way of this business run, and uh, we we are sharing and building the same lifestyle that we desire, right? So
Mm,
what is the lifestyle that the couple desire? More time together, of course, travel together often also,
mm.
right? So when you travel, you enjoy, you relax, so less less conflict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is really something that I would look forward to, because I used to have this thinking that when you work with your partner, your spouse, you end up having a lot of conflicts, and I would always be thinking that when you work with your spouse, you will be bringing work home even after work hours. You will be talking about work in the day, and at night you are still talking about work when you are at home, because you are both in the same um, so-called in the same work office, or doing the same thing together. So
If
yeah,
it's a
when
corporate kind of environment,
mm,
I totally will not, uh, I totally will not agree that a couple should work together, because it's like day and night. You see, sleep also beside. You need that break. You need that break, right? But
yeah,
this digital business totally is a different kind of setup that will bring the couple together. And in this community, we have seen many couples
many
doing,
many power
not
couples.
just,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's not just a proven system. It's a proven community that the couples amazingly work well together.
yeah, and that is why that keeps me even more inspired to continue and press on to one day have my husband join me on board as well. Yeah.
That one
So
day will come.
yep, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much, Jen, for sharing with us your journey so far in this 22 months. And I'm inspired to actually, progress in the same direction as how you have done so. And yeah, so for those of you who are actually interested or keen to find out if this business model is for you, and whether this online business that Jen and myself are in is actually suitable for you, we'd like to actually invite you to invest 90 minutes of your time to find out if this is what might work for you, like how it did work for myself and Jen. So if you're keen to find out more, just register for the free webinar, a free workshop. It's a 90-minute long webinar, and it happens every Wednesday and Friday, Singapore time at 8 a.m. in the morning. But not to worry if you can't catch the live session like how Jen was in the live session this morning, because we always have the replay sessions readily available for you to catch anytime at your convenience. Yep. So once again, Jen, thank you so much for joining me online today to share your journey with us.
My
And
pleasure.
yeah, and for tomorrow, do tune in at the same time, 11:15, same time, same place on my business page, same face you'll be seeing. I'll be coming back to you day 9 in my journey to share more about the results that I've experienced so far, 10 months into this business, and more benefits about this business and what it could bring for you. So before we go, Jen, I guess we have a few people who are watching us. We do have Josephine. Hi, Josephine. We have Moon watching us while she's eating supper. Hi, Moon. Thanks for
That makes me
multitasking.
hungry.
Yeah, that we do have Andrea. Oh, watching us live all the way from Taipei. Hi, Andrea. Thanks for tuning in. And yes, like what Josephine says, if you are willing to learn, nothing is impossible. And I totally agree. Usually, it's always all you need is to take the first step out. If you don't take the first step out of the comfort zone to try, you'll never know if what is in store works for you or not. Yep. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in again tonight. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. And thank you so much again, Janice, for joining us. I will see you again tomorrow at the same time, 11:15 in the night. Thank you so much, Janice. And thank you, everyone. Bye bye.